This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Middle East is bracing for possible retaliation from Israel after Iran launched 300 drones and missiles at Israel in response to Israel's recent bombing of the Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria. The Iranian attack caused little damage inside Israel, which intercepted nearly all the drones and missiles with help from the United States, Britain, France, and Jordan. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called for maximum restraint Sunday at an emergency UN Security Council meeting.
The Middle East is on the brink. The people of the region are confronting a real danger of a devastating, full-scale conflict. Now is the time to defuse and de-escalate. Now is the time for maximum restraint.
As we broadcast, Israel's war cabinet is reconvening to debate how to respond to Iran's first-ever direct attack. Israeli war cabinet member Benny Gantz has vowed Israel will retaliate against Iran.
In the face of the Iranian threat, we will build a regional coalition and exact the price from Iran in the fashion and timing that is right for us. And most importantly, faced with the desire of our enemies to harm us, we will continue to unite and become stronger.
President Biden's reiterated his, quote, ironclad support for Israel, but he reportedly told Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the United States will not participate in any retaliatory strikes against Iran. At the United Nations Sunday, Iran's UN ambassador, Saeed Iravani, defended the missile and drone attack on Israel, saying it was done in self-defense.
These countries, especially the United States, have shielded Israel from any responsibility for the Gaza massacre, while they have denied Iran inherent right to self-defense against the Israeli armed attack on our diplomatic premises. At the same time, they shamefully justified the Israeli massacre and genocide against the defenseless Palestinian people under the pretext of self-defense.
Iran's attacks on Israel may add new momentum for the U.S. Congress to approve more aid for Israel as the House returns to session today. For more, we go to Tehran, where we're joined by Reza Shah, freelance journalist based in Tehran, where he joins us from. Trita Parsi is Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, joining us from Washington, D.C. And later we'll speak with Gideon Levy, award-winning Israeli journalist and author in Tel Aviv. He's columnist for the newspaper Haaretz, a member of its editorial board. His most recent piece is headlined, "If Iran attacks Israel, the blame lies on Israel's irresponsible decision-makers." We welcome you all to Democracy Now! Reza Shah, let's begin with you in Tehran. Can you talk about the response there in Iran's capital after Iran retaliated against Israel for bombing the Iranian consulate in Damascus?
Well, the people of Iran have had a variety of responses and sentiments, and I think it's important to remind everyone that neither myself nor any journalist can sit here and tell you that a population, an entire population, has a single feeling, a single voice, a single sentiment. But this is what you hear oftentimes in Western news media, or journalists describing what an entire population is feeling or saying. That's simply not the case. There are different competing sentiments in every population, and that is the case here in Iran. There's a segment of the population here in Iran that are staunch supporters of the clerical establishment, staunch supporters of the supreme leader. They believe that it's the duty of every Muslim to support and help the oppressed, and they view Gazans and Palestinians as the oppressed. They're following very closely the events in Gaza over the past 6 months. They were outraged when Iran's consulate was attacked in Syria. And they cheered Iran's response over the weekend when they fired those rockets and those drones in Israel. That's one segment of the population. There's another segment of the population in Iran that are staunch critics of the government. They have a very different view. They want reform in the government. Some want the government gone. They don't mind when senior officials of the Revolutionary Guard are assassinated. They don't mind when the establishment is undermined, when the Revolutionary Guard is undermined. They believe that the Iranian government, instead of funding Hezbollah and Hamas, should help the people. So they are and they remain critical of Iran's role in this conflict. But it's important to point out that most people here in Iran are remarkably continuing their lives. Obviously, some people are worried. They see the headlines. They wonder what's going to happen. But remarkably, they continue their lives. Schools are open, stores are open, businesses are open. And I think that speaks to the resilience of the Iranian people who face so many challenges over these last 40 plus years, isolation, a horrible economy, inflation, the lack of jobs, but somehow they continue living while monitoring what's happening.